Hey, gorgeous. Welcome to the Ready to Bloom podcast, which features interviews with inspiring women entrepreneurs from around the world. Thank you so much for joining us today. Now, without further ado, I'll hand you over to your host, Holly Wharton.
Hello and welcome to the Ready to Bloom podcast, episode 98. This is your host, Holly Wharton. I'm here with today's special guest, Star Khechara. Author and serial six-figure entrepreneur, Star Khechara is an expert at turning passions into profits and monetizing personality. She helps free-spirited female solopreneurs create blissful passive income from educational offerings such as e-courses, e-books, academies, and membership sites. Welcome, Star.
Oh, hi, thank you. What a nice introduction.
I'm so excited to have you here today.
Oh, yeah, me too. I'm really happy to be here.
Good. Well, Star, why don't you start out by telling us a little bit about your background and your business journey, because you've had kind of some big business changes over the years.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and life changes too. Well, basically, you know, I've always been like quite a free-spirited kind of person, and I never really found I could get on in like normal jobs or anything. And I just thought there was something wrong with me, like fundamentally, until I discovered that there was this thing, you know, called working for yourself. And I decided to start trying to monetize some of the things I was passionate about. And I'd been, I had a jewelry business for a while because I've got an actual degree in art, specializing in metalwork. Yeah, I know. Not a lot of people know that. And, you know, so I didn't kind of get on with that so much because it's very labor intensive, you know, constantly making jewelry all the time. And I love travel. I love being outside. I roller skate, I hula hoop, I dance. I love being on the beach. So I started thinking, how could I like monetize the things I do and still have that freedom life? And at the time, there wasn't any books or anything I could read about it, nothing really that I found anyway. And one of my other passions was skincare. I already had a book authored called The Holistic Beauty Book, and I taught people how to make organic skincare products. So I thought, well, a lot of people come to me and send me emails, but they're from far away, you know, because I'm in the UK. So I thought, oh, I could set up some training, you know, start building some e-courses, and then so I did, because I'm a big action taker. If I say I'm going to do something, I literally start doing it that second. And so I just started writing e-courses, and I didn't know anything about the internet marketing world at all. I was such a newbie, and I lived in a caravan, you know, for a while with no electricity. I was completely cut off from everyone. And at the time I started building my school, I was actually living in a tent because I was kind of homeless because I had no money at all. And I just had to like use a secondhand computer and beg, borrow and steal, you know, all along the way. And gradually people started actually buying this e-course. And I thought, wow, this is actually the most money I've made for myself ever. Yeah. So
well, that's always a good sign.
I know. Yeah. When people start buying it, you think this could be something, you know. And, you know, and then eventually I added more and more information products, you know, so I had a little mini ebooks and I had some more courses, and it grew into a worldwide academy that started turning over, well, not just turning over, but giving me personally a 5-figure monthly income. Mm-hmm. I did that for like 2 years, and I realized that actually my passion wasn't so much in the skincare. It was actually helping people launch skincare brands. So I realized I was really, really fascinated by sales and marketing and the whole business of turning your passion into money. And so, yeah, I sold that business last year in February. And then this last summer, I decided to launch myself as someone that helps women with passive income. Really, yeah.
That's your specialty.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Accidentally, yeah.
So how did you end up making that transition then from your organic cosmetics teaching business to what you're doing today is helping women create passive income, because that's a huge switch.
Yeah, I mean, from the outside, it does seem like a crazy switch, but the focus of my academy, when it became an academy anyway, my skincare formulation school, was really about helping people turn their passion for skincare into an actual business. So it wasn't just teaching them the science and art of crafting amazing skincare. It was actually about how to do this as a job and how to launch it out there. And I gave people multiple ways to monetize that passion. I taught them how to like write for magazines, how to get on TV, how to teach skincare physically in a classroom. I even had like the world's first like skincare tutor training program as well. And there's now global tutors under the my old business's banner out there in the world teaching my original courses.
Excellent.
Yeah, so it wasn't really a leap as it looks from the outside, because I just simply went from teaching people about how to launch a skincare business to how to launch any kind of freedom business.
Right. Okay. So you just kind of open things up a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Now, your personality is such a big part of your business. So how was it when you sold that previous business and someone else took over running it? Because obviously things changed.
Yeah, well, it was really odd, because I had the calling to sell my business for about a year. And when I say calling, it was just like this nagging intuition, this voice coming through as it does, in the still watches of the night, telling me that it was time to move on and do something else. And it was really difficult, because I approached loads of people in the know about how to sell a business. And they said, well, this is a lifestyle business. This is a personality business. It's branded on you. There's no way you could ever sell it. And that just made me, anytime anyone says no to me, that's like a spark of ignition to me. That's just like, watch me. I'll sell this business. You'll see. And so what I did, I started approaching my own graduates, because they're in the perfect position to be able to take my message and run with it. And they'd been trained by me too, so they had the right ethos, and I knew them intimately. And they all said no. And but I said, you know what, I'm going to make this business so it's like a no-brainer for someone to take it on. And I spent a further year really refining it, and I rebuilt the website. I made it much more hands-off, so I really automated a lot of the lessons and everything. I learned how to use WordPress plugins properly, and I did loads of stuff, really, really built some really high-end, nice packages of learning in the academy, and got a lot of recognition. I started getting, me personally, I was getting more into magazines and had some TV work, so the word was getting out about the school a lot more. And then I started stepping back from the branding of it, so it became its own brand rather than just branded directly on me. And then the figures were just so good for the amount of work it took, that by the time I reapproached my top graduate, she said that yes this time, and she's now the director, and she has taken the school so stratospheric, so far that to a place I knew it could go, but I just didn't want to take it there myself.
That's fantastic. Sounds like it was the perfect takeover then.
I know, and we're still best friends to this day, and we help each other with our businesses and everything. It's really, really good.
That's great. So how long did it take you to learn about business and marketing to build this business to such a big level? Because you, as you said, you were living in a tent, you were borrowing people's computers. That's a really challenging place to start from, and to go from there to building such a successful business that you were able to sell it. How did you make that happen?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think, honestly, in the beginning, it was sheer bloody mindedness. I'm a typical British working class girl. If I say I'm doing something, I do it. I don't watch TV. I get every minute of my day is taken up either doing something I love doing, like fun stuff, being active, traveling and whatever, or it's being of service to the world, and my way of being of service is to run my business. So it was a case of necessity. I was living in a tent, like you say. I was in secondhand clothes. I could barely afford anything at all. My computer was 9 years old and had been given to me, and it was regularly crashed, twice a day sometimes. And it was just a necessity, and also that drive inside. When you feel you're aligned to your purpose. And that takes you forward. Every single day I'd wake up raring to go. I couldn't wait to get on my computer and build the next bit. And I learned as I went. I was lucky enough that I did have 5 years experience within the sales and marketing field when I used to work in normal jobs. So a lot of that knowledge was retained with regards to marketing and sales. But I think business is one of those things you can only really learn on the job.
Yeah, I completely agree. You can go to business school and you can learn all the theory, but it's I've never gone to business school, but I just feel like I just went straight into my own business, and I learned so much every single day that I can't imagine that having all that theory would have helped me anymore.
No, exactly. I feel the same way. And I think a lot of people, when they go and learn the official stuff about business, they actually don't have the real live tools of what it takes to do it in this day and age with this online stuff, which is all new and it changes so rapidly.
Yeah, you've really got to be flexible and be open to learning new things on a constant basis.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And not just sit there and go, oh, I don't know how to do this, so I guess I can't. That's not an option.
Not an option. You've got to dive in and try and hit buttons and hopes it works. And if it doesn't, you start again.
So was there a tipping point in your business where things kind of went from that upward struggle to just flow?
Yeah, there was. And it's when I started learning to actually implement some kind of automation in my business. So at first, and you'll laugh, and anyone reading this will think, oh my God, they won't believe that this is how I started. But when I started selling my skincare training programs, I didn't have anything in place regarding mailing lists or anything. I didn't even know about that stuff at all. So I was literally emailing people that emailed me about my book. You know, people that just said, oh, I like your book, you know, and I was emailing them and say, hey, by the way, do you know, I've got this course that's coming out. And people actually had to send me a check, like a mailing check with fill in a form and send it to me to my postal address. And then I sent them the course modules manually by writing an individual email and then just adding the attachments. And I did that for every single student because I didn't even have a website at the time. But it revolutionized, you know, when I started learning about automation and email marketing software. And I got straight in, and like with everything I do, I went at it like a bull in a gate, probably stayed up all night, you know, until I had it done and mapped and finished. And now and then I became like an expert in these things really fast because I would go beyond what normal people tell you on the internet, and I would start finding a way to make it, you know, so much better. But that really revolutionized when I learned automation, and you know, so about 90% of my business then became quite automatic. So it freed me up.
Yeah, exactly.
do loads of fun stuff, but also to make better content, make more content, and get the word out there more and help more people.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the more time you have to do to focus on the things that are really in your zone of genius, that really helps your business take off.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
So you talk a lot about how to become famous for being you. Was that something that came natural to you, just being totally authentic online, or was that something that you struggled with at the beginning?
I think it came naturally to me because I literally didn't know there was any other way. Like I said, you know, I've come from I don't know if you have the term over there, but the word Luddite, in England, it means like someone who's completely not down with technology at all, you know, very old fashioned.
Yep.
So I was very much that person. I was a complete technophobe. And it's only been since my late 20s I started using even a computer at all. Yeah, I'm sorry, I've just forgotten your question.
But you gave really great content and information in the meantime.
If you want to repeat that,
yeah,
has to get back on track.
No, I was just talking about how you talk a lot about becoming famous for being you, and whether it was difficult for you to be authentic online.
So in the beginning, like I didn't have any other choice. I was just me, you know, because I didn't know there's any other way. But now, I practice it a lot. In fact, this morning, I woke up really early and I was in bed with all my hair messy and my makeup smudged down my face. And I went on Periscope, which is the new live streaming app. And I just made a video from my bed with my hair, you know, all over to show. I like to show that I have a real life, you know, that it's not all unicorns and glitter and rainbows and, you know, it's not always sipping cocktails on the beach. It's, you know, there's that too, but like there is the hard work. There is the you know, and being visible, it can be scary because you attract people who don't like you or people that have a strong opinion about you. You can end up with haters, you know, and it's courageous. It's a courageous step, but it is essential. And the fact is, when you start getting people hating you, that's when you know you're making it.
You know, a lot of people are starting to get that, and I'll often see people in Facebook groups that I belong to. Hey, I got my first hater today. I must have, you know, be on my way to making it.
That's it. I'm the same, and I've seen that in groups too. Like people actually celebrating getting their first hater because you know you're starting to make waves. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, and I feel like for every person who's celebrating their first hater, there are probably thousands of other people who are just terrified of the haters. And I feel like that fear is really, really paralyzing to people. I know so many women entrepreneurs who are scared to do video, who are scared to start blogging, and they're doing some of it, but they're doing it so small because they're playing safe. And so what would be your advice to people to just step out and do their thing and not be afraid of the haters?
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough one because, the reality is there are people out there who do deliberately troll to hate on people. But, what you've got to remember is that most of these people are like 14 years old, sitting in their bedroom. They're not real, they're not like, if they saw you face to face, they'd be scared and run away. They're just being brave because they're online and they can say what they want. And, just to get over that, I mean, imagine if you're walking down the street and some little kid come up to you and just said, hey, you're fat or something. You're probably just like, oh my God, get out of my face, child. but I use that as an example because people have called me that online. But it's a weird world. And I mean, I don't know what I can give advice-wise other than to just, you know what, you've just got to do it anyway. And just say to yourself, don't be afraid of getting haters because the chances are you will get haters. So just know that straight away. And then it's not a shock. As people might go, oh my God, someone said something mean to me on the internet. Yeah, because you're on the internet. It's as simple as that. If you're on the internet, someone will say something mean about you. So just swallow it down, step up and just do it anyway and put your loudest, proudest self out there. Because I tell you what, you're going to get haters if you're vanilla. So you may as well be your crazy self because they're going to hate on you anyway.
Yeah, there's always going to be someone that's jealous of you or just insecure about themselves or whatever. And that's going to spark their crap and they're going to lash out no matter what you do.
Yeah, exactly. And some people it's just a game to them. They want a reaction as well. Yeah. So just don't let them, just ignore. Hit block. Block
and delete, block and delete.
Exactly. I repeat that, rinse and repeat. That's your mantra.
That's the mantra of the entrepreneur. Block and delete.
That's right.
So, Star, what are your top tips on how to monetize yourself and your personality and create that business around your unique personality?
Well, the first thing I would say, and this is something obviously I work through with my clients as well, is you've got to really be totally honest about what your passions are. And by passions, I don't just mean the things that excite you, but the things that you could do for the long haul. So, for example, business is up and down. There's going to be days when you're going to hate it and days when you love it. So it takes more than just a bit of passion about something to make it work. So really drill down and find out what are the things you would do even if you weren't being paid. Because that's the gem, really. It's like the thing that you would do even if no one ever paid you is the thing that you should then go and get paid for. And a case in point, my skincare school was based on the back of my 15-year non-career making natural skincare products, for fun. And I did it, and I would spend all my money doing it. I would get up in the morning and do it. I would do it all day long. I would talk about it. I would give products to people. And I did that for 15 years for no money. So when it came down to me monetizing that, I had so much knowledge and passion, and I knew the passion was never ending because, I'd done it without the money for so long. And that's kind of like the secret, really. So everyone out there has got something they've done for a long time that they've become good at and that they're still passionate about, and that's really the thing. That's the thing that you should be monetizing.
Excellent. So how do you recommend that people kind of get clear on what this passion is? Because I think some people are multi-passionate and they're so confused about how to pick one thing and stick to it, or how to combine multiple things together, or what the heck to do.
Yeah, and I totally understand because I'm multi-passionate too. Like I've had unbelievable amounts of issues with this, and at one point I had like something ridiculous, like 8 websites and 3 Twitter accounts. Ooh. Yeah, and it just became crazy unmanageable. And I'll be honest here, I still struggle with the multi-passionate side of myself. But what I'm learning to do more and more is that you don't have to turn each of those multi-passions into a separate business. But what you can do is, if you imagine a diamond, the more facets it has cut into it, the more brilliance that diamond has. And so when you put yourself as the brand and business out into the world, the more of those multi-facets you show of yourself, of your multi-passions, the more brilliance you're putting out into the world. And I really believe that multi-passionate people, are the greatest entrepreneurs because they have so many different interests and interesting things about them that people naturally gravitate. So, you can share and show those multi-passions through your blogging, through your Twittering, through your Instagram account, through your Pinterest, and you can bring elements of those into your business. However, the product that you put out into the world, that should be a little bit more streamlined. So, you kind of think of it in terms of adding those multi-passions to one product, but you're still using those multi-passions.
Yes. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, because I think that's something that so many people struggle with. Because as you said, a lot of entrepreneurs are multi-passionate.
Yeah, and the multi-passionate people are the greatest people in the world, obviously.
Of course we are. So, Star, you talk also a lot about the secret to passive income, and you've made a lot of money last year in passive income. It says very clearly on your website exactly the number.
Yes.
So how did you discover that secret to passive income, and how do you make it work in your business?
Yeah, well, it's weird because I never knew the word passive income. It's not actually very well known in England, that term at all. And if you do mention it, people think you're talking about weird scammy stuff. So it's a really hard word to kind of use. But when I automated my skincare school, I made it. It was basically ended up being 90% passive at that point when I sold it. And then I found out there's this word, passive income. I thought, I've been doing that already.
And I didn't know what it was called.
Yeah. So I was really excited then that it had a name, and then I realized that a lot of people are using that name in vain by, it's all affiliate marketing and pyramid schemes and that kind of thing. But I was like, well, do you know what? There's an authentic side to passive income. And it's about, I call it taking your brain to the bank, because it's all about taking all the stuff you have inside your head, your knowledge, your passions, your expertise, your skills, and turning them into bankable products such as, ebooks, online courses, programs, any kind of downloadable product really that people can click and buy while you're asleep or on the beach or playing with your friends and family. It is a passive income product. So information is where the secret lies with real, genuine, authentic passive income. And we live in the information age, and there's never been such a great opportunity as we have now, with so many free platforms, so much interest in internet marketing and everything, and being online, that it's actually fairly straightforward for people to monetize themselves by creating passive income online products.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's just a trick for people to realize that what they know is not common knowledge. It's important knowledge that they have and other people might not.
That's right, exactly. And people often say to me, but Star, why would they pay for this when it's free on YouTube? I'm like, well, skincare stuff was free on YouTube too, but I still made a 6-figure business out of it.
Yeah.
Because they want to learn from you, and a lot of free information out there is very low quality, or you have to spend hours searching for it. So that actually taking hours searching for something is probably one of the biggest bugbears of any entrepreneur anyway.
Exactly. You want to have it all in one place, and you want to get it from someone that you trust.
Exactly. And that's what counts. So that's why people do still pay for information.
Because they want it easily delivered in a nice package.
That's right. Little sparkles and everything.
Sparkles and cat ears.
Yes. Always.
How did the cat ears come into your business, by the way? I absolutely love them.
Well, I've always been a bit of one for dressing up. I spent 3 years as a burlesque dancer, with all the glitter and the false lashes and the corsets and everything and little silly costumes. So I've always kind of dressed up, and hair accessories are my biggest thing that I like to do. And then I found those cat ears while out one day, and I just put them on, and they kind of haven't come off since.
And that's very unique, because I don't know of any other entrepreneurs wearing cat ears on their website. So
I know, it's become, as soon as I did it, I was like, oh, that's iconic. That's what
gotta keep those.
Exactly. And this is part of again, building your fame online. If you have an iconic look, and I do encourage people to, that's why it's fun to share your real self. So if you like crazy scarves, or you've got pink hair, or you all stick gems onto your eyelashes or something, just keep doing it.
And do more of it.
Do more of it. And if you're not like that, if you're super vanilla, then own that vanilla-ness and be the most vanilla ever in the world.
Fantastic advice. Thank you. So, Star, do you have any women business mentors? Are there any women in business who inspire you?
I don't actually, I've never actually had a business mentor, weirdly, because, Star has always done things her own strange ways. So it's probably to my credit that I've never had a mentor. But I really, there are like a couple of people I look up to. One of them is Denise Duffield-Thomas. I really love her Lucky Bitch Money Bootcamp. It helped me a lot with when I first started out, being from a poverty past. It really helped me with money blocks, and just being in that community of women all striving, all striving to upgrade their lives and up level and increase their income
and celebrate the income.
Yes, without shame, without like feeling they have to hide it when they're successful, and also not being ashamed when they're in debt either. It's a very open sharing community, and that's so that's the kind of like main place I go to when I'm going to someone else's thing online. Don't think there's many people I really follow, to be honest. I tend to try not to follow too many people because you can end up diluting yourself accidentally. So I tend to keep myself in a bit of a bubble in that regard. But Denise is like, I really love Denise. I love her work. I follow her, yeah.
Great. So why don't you tell us a little bit about how other women entrepreneurs can benefit from working with you? Because you've got a number of different offerings now.
Well, I'm actually...
Or are you paring things down?
I'm paring things down this year, yeah. I'm finally learning the art of minimalism in business, which is quite a feat for me, because being multi-passionate and chaotic, it's quite hard. But I'm really focusing this year on my signature program, which is called Passive Income Rocks. And it's a program aimed at women specifically, because a lot of stuff out there about passive income is really like male centric.
Yes.
And if you go on somewhere like ClickBank or Warrior Forums, you can just whiff the testosterone coming off those messages. And it's all about clicks and upsells, and it's all like a bit like a dog fight, in there. And it's like, do you know what? There's a whole other world to passive income, and I'm not in that world. I'm this one, and my world is glittery and pink. So, and it's all about refining your sole purpose of turning that into passive income and being yourself online. So it doesn't really fit in the male centric version of passive income. So I really want to help as many women as possible this year to really realize that dream. They can have unlimited freedom and unlimited wealth without busting their ass, on these crazy 80-hour work weeks or anything. I don't think I've ever worked more than 20 hours in a week.
Wow.
Yeah, it's just a kind of personal goal. I used to actually think I was lazy, weirdly, but I think that...
You're just efficient.
Exactly, thank you. I was going to say, I think they misspelled genius, but I'll go with efficient.
Oh, genius is good.
Efficiency is good. I've never been called efficient before, so I like that. I'm going to use that in my next bio. Rated efficient by Holly. So that's I'm really honing in on that now. So I have I'm just about to launch a free training program called Passive Income for Girls.
Oh, great.
Yeah, so that's my new freebie, and that should be going out next week. So anyone that kind of jumps on my list right now will get automatic access to it when it goes live anyway. My whole list will get it. So I'm gonna. It's kind of like just going to be a video mini class, as it were, showing you how to start, down the road of passive income, and that in a female centric way.
Excellent.
No dodgy weird stuff. Just all about taking your own brain to the bank and getting paid to be yourself.
And I think that's something that so many people, that's their dream, but they just don't know how to do it. So I think that's fantastic that you exist to teach people how to do this.
No, you're absolutely right. A load of people do want that as their dream, and unfortunately, there's an awful lot of info out there selling the false dream of that. So that's why I really want to focus on that this year, to show that if I can do it, who lived in a tent and built her passive income businesses up on a 9-year-old computer with no Facebook ads. I've never done a Facebook ad, never done a webinar, never done anything. Don't even have affiliates. I've done it all just through pure visibility and really making products from the bottom of my heart, really having that desire to serve and put really good quality information out there.
That's the way it should be.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Star, where can people find you online?
Well, my website, starkhechara.com, which is a little bit empty right now as I'm revamping it. So there's not much to find in there, but people can actually sign up at least to get notified when the free training is available. And my group, Monetize You, which is spelled the English way with an S, Monetize You, is really good. We've got almost 1,700 people in there now, mostly women. There's a couple of awesome dudes for balance, Actually, one of them is my man. So yeah, and it's just a really great space where, I basically lead the field with helping people start monetize themselves, start being visible, start thinking about how they can, take their brain to the bank. So it's kind of like a nice melting pot of people just starting out along that kind of passive income and self-monetization path. Mm-hmm. And that's a really great space. I'm active in there every single day. Mm-hmm. And, there's lots of amazing women in there. We've got authors in there, podcasters, brand strategists, people just starting out with no business, like all kinds of women in there who are all really helpful. I make sure my groups are always pitch free as well. Mm-hmm. So it's always about just helping each other and providing valuable content.
Excellent. Sounds fantastic.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. You've given us really great perspective on how to be Marmite, as you say in one of your videos.
Yeah, like Marmite. Hated is rated.
And it sounds like you hate it from the video.
Yeah, I'm not like, Marmite.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Holly.
And thank you for listening. And remember to visit readytobloom.com/98 for the show notes on this episode. Thank you.
Thanks so much for listening to the Ready to Bloom podcast with your host, Holly Wharton. You can find more information about today's guests, including links for topics that were discussed at readytobloom.com. That's ready, 2, bloom.com. And if you enjoyed this episode, please remember to head over to iTunes and leave us a quick review of this podcast. Thank you so much.